After months of deliberation and prayer about the future of our country, I have come here tonight to make an announcement on how I believe I can best serve her. I chose to make this announcement at the Freedom Tower because it is truly a symbol of our nation's identity as a land of opportunity.
Well, there are those who might see Marco Rubio as a slam-dunk candidate for Hispanic Americans. Young, successful, charismatic, saying all the right things. Those would be people who need to better understand the dynamic at play. Then again, they might be right. Our guest is a GOP fundraiser and attorney based in Miami, national board member of the Maverick PAC, which provides a platform for engaging the next generation of Republican leaders in business and politics. Let's welcome Luis Gazitua to MidPoint. I don't believe he's there. Luis, are you there? Nope, we lost him for a sec. Okay, let's go. I could have sworn I heard something in the background. Is he? Luis, are you there?
You have me, yes.
There you go. There you go. Okay, I heard something in the background. Sounded like an operator saying that you weren't there, so I wanted to make sure. Luis, thanks for joining us here. Let's deal specifically and go right to Marco Rubio and the Hispanic vote. We've had a number of people today say, some have come on and said the fact that he has changed his mind on the immigration vote will not make any difference whatsoever. Others say that that is absolutely the difference and that will cost him the Hispanic vote. Which side are you on?
Well, I have to tell you that yesterday was a very special day in that Senator Rubio decided to announce his campaign for president at the Freedom Tower. And the Freedom Tower is a very special building to the Cuban-American voters, Cuban-American people. In the 1960s, that's where they were processed when they escaped communism. And they came to the United States with the promise of freedom and prosperity. Yesterday, the senator, whose parents are Cuban exiles and came from meager means, he announced his candidacy, and in that, it was an example of how the American dream was fulfilled through him. He rose to be a lawyer. He was a city commissioner. He was a state representative. He became the Speaker of our House. He ran for United States Senate against then Governor Charlie Crist. He ran against the establishment and he won. And now he's running for president. So I think his immigration policies will be fleshed out through the primary. I think he's going to have an opportunity to tell his story. He did a wonderful interview earlier today on NPR where he said, well, at least he's one of the candidates out there who made an effort to make a change.
Well, let's look at it this way. When he comes to telling his story, doesn't he have to immediately come out and say, yes, I was part of the Gang of Eight that co-authored the bipartisan Senate immigration bill, but I was wrong, and that's why I backed up on it? Doesn't he need to say that out loud?
I think he says, I think he needs to say, I made an effort. I just didn't make speeches about this. I just didn't pontificate. I went out there and I gave it a great shot. And as the President of the United States, he'll probably be able to do more. I think that's what he needs to say. I think his actions speak louder than words.
But he does need to come forward and he has to admit that he made that, because let's be very honest here. There are people who say that when it comes to changing opinions and changing minds, that doesn't say to people that you're an honest politician. It says that you're an opportunistic politician in many ways.
You know, I necessarily don't agree with that. I think minds do change. I think situations change, and I'm curious to see how this whole dialogue will progress throughout the primary.
What is it then that he needs to say to the American people to not only gather and garner that Hispanic vote, but to get the rest of America behind him?
I think he needs to share his experience, as indicated when I first got on the call, with the symbolism of the iconic Freedom Tower, the promise of what America can be to the next generation. He can articulate that. It will resonate with all voters. It will resonate with Hispanics. It will resonate with mainstream voters. I think he could be very successful because he does have a good story to tell.
Would you not say, though, that he has to start getting into some specifics, though? Because while it's a great story that he tells, wouldn't you agree that a lot of Americans don't want to hear stories at this point? They want to hear about answers and solutions?
There's 19 months to get into the details. I think there'll be plenty of details forthcoming from many candidates in this race to the White House.
Well, exactly. But that's what my point is here, is that Americans want to hear actual solutions instead of just stories.
I agree with you. And
okay.
They will. The gentleman announced yesterday.
So what is it then that you think, and what would be your best guess or your advice, if you will, that Marco Rubio needs to get out there in order to make sure that he grabs people and becomes that Republican nominee?
I think he'll detail his economic platform. He'll detail his platform for a strong defense. He'll detail tax reform, and I think the American people will get behind it.
Do you think that the Hispanic vote is necessary for someone to become president of the United States?
As a Hispanic, I definitely do.
And would you say that right now, because also Ted Cruz is in the race, but it would be your opinion that Marco Rubio is the best choice then to not only lead the Hispanic vote, but to lead America?
Well, of the gentlemen in the race, I'm biased to the folks from Miami, so that's all I can say about that.
It doesn't hurt, because when it comes down to politics, we all are biased in one way or another when it comes down to the candidate that we want. That is very true. Luis Gazitua, thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, take care. There are certain ways to learn all about America if one seeks to really know what this country is about. You can read about it, you can travel to it, or you can eat your way across the country. We'll tell you about that when we come back right here on MidPoint.